Hey everybody, it's been a couple days since this happened and I've been really chewing on whether or not to talk about it. I mentioned it in a post once, but here's what happened. You guys know that we have Josh. Josh is in a wheelchair, and you guys know that I'm a Christian, that I'm a Pentecostal, that I believe in healing. Well, after church Sunday, something happened to me that has started happening a few times, and it's this. Somebody came up after church, and in the service, I just mentioned that Joshua has muscular dystrophy. And somebody walked by and they said, "Don't say that." And I said, "Don't say what?" They said, "You said your son has muscular dystrophy." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Don't say that. You're speaking death over your son." So I'm killing my son? I'm killing my son because I'm telling you the disease that he has so that you can pray? So I just looked at this person and I said, "No, that's simply not true." They said, "Well, Isaiah 53 says, by his stripes we're healed." Oh, listen, if you want to use the present tense in the Old Testament, please apply every single present tense that the poetry of the Old Testament is written in to yourself first, and then begin quoting these scriptures about healing. I believe in healing. I see healings. I pray for healings. I've seen really cool healings happen consistently in my ministry lately. But Joshua has not been healed. But I have never seen anybody in the scriptures, there's no record of anyone coming to Jesus and saying to him, "I'm not sick. The Old Testament says I'm healed, but I'd like you to take care of my symptoms." We heap so much condemnation on people who are struggling because we don't take the time to actually look at how the scriptures deal with sickness and disease. So, for those of you who may have friends who have children who are disabled, the last thing you want to do is put weight on them that is simply not their weight. Do you think they don't have faith? Do you think they don't believe? They're believing more than anybody that you know for the healing of that child. I challenge you, if you're one of these word of faith people who say, "Don't speak this, don't speak this," the next time, before you go and heap condemnation on a parent, go up to that parent and say, "I'm going to raise your child. I'm going to heal your child," because apparently your faith is great enough that you can walk up to someone and heap condemnation on them. So, friends, our churches are full of people with disabilities, with pain, with hurting. And the last thing we want to do is step into their lives and saying, "You know what, they're not causing that sickness. They're living with people who are struggling." So, as a pastor, as a leader in the church, as a person who cares about people outside the church, I beg you, I implore you, please don't bring your bad theology about healing into the life of someone who's dealing with a serious medical diagnosis. It's simply not true. It's not scriptural. It's not good theology. And if you think you're so much better than that person, feel free to stop by and heal Joshua. But if you can't, then be quiet and just pray for those people. That's all I'm asking. Let's extend a lot more grace to people who are struggling. And let's not say, "I declare something that's simply not true." If you're sick, don't say, "I'm not sick." Say, "I'm sick and I believe God can heal me." But this idea of declaring something that's not true as if it were true doesn't make you God. It makes you arrogant. And sometimes it makes you mean and hurtful to other people. Now, I'm a pastor. I know how to deal with these things. I can talk through these things. But there's a lot of people in our churches who get all this heaped on them and they don't know what to do. We need to be people of grace and kindness and mercy, rather than heaping condemnation on areas that we have no idea what we're talking about. Sorry, but that's just my heart from the dad of a guy in a wheelchair who's had to deal with this over and over again. Thanks for listening. Maybe somebody you know needs to hear this. Share it. And if you're the parent of a disabled child, let me say this. It's not your fault. And the weight that you're bearing is enormous. And Jesus doesn't condemn you, and Jesus doesn't expect you to be the only one to have faith. Jesus says, come to me, all who are weary laden. Jesus forever refused the issue of causation when people came and asked him, why is this person sick? And he would simply say, I'm going to speak into this person's life. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing. Got that off my chest.